Welcome back to Wheel Rever, and when you swing a leg over the GSX-R1000, there's a sense of familiarity mixed with intimidation. It's not just a motorcycle, it's a distilled philosophy that Suzuki has been chasing since the first GSX-R rolled out in 1985. You're sitting on 40 years of refinement, race victories, and trackside engineering. But somehow it doesn't feel overly complicated or clinical. It's mechanical enough to satisfy purists, but it's packed with just the right amount of electronic safety net to make modern superbike performance manageable. Twist the throttle, and the first thing you notice is how linear the power delivery is. It doesn't explode all at once. Instead, it builds with a silky surge that makes the bike incredibly usable on the street. Down low, the torque is surprisingly forgiving, allowing you to ride through traffic without constantly searching for the perfect gear. Mid-range, it snaps awake, giving you the kind of acceleration that pins you back, and when you reach that screaming red line, the bike turns into a missile. The variable valve timing system plays a huge part in these. If there's no dramatic hole in the power band, just relentless thrust from idle to limiter. Handling is where the GSX-R1000 really earns its reputation. The chassis feels tight but not twitchy. At city speeds, it's easy to maneuver, but on open roads or a racetrack, the precision sharpens. Tip into a corner, and the front end communicates clearly, telling you exactly where the grip is. That Showa suspension on the base bike is already well sorted, but the R's balance-free forks make a noticeable difference if you're chasing lap times or carving mountain passes. The brakes are another highlight, with Brembo bite that feels strong yet progressive. It's the kind of setup that gives you confidence to trail brake deeper than you thought possible, lap after lap, without fade. Suzuki's ABS system is there in the background, but it rarely intrudes unless you're pushing into sketchy territory. On longer rides, the GSX-R1000 surprises again. The ergonomics, while undeniably aggressive, aren't punishing. At 6 feet tall you can tuck behind the screen and feel the aerodynamics actually working to take weight off your wrists. On the highway, it's stable and planted, with a gearbox that clicks positively and a quick shifter that makes gear changes addictive. Suzuki's slipper clutch also works in harmony, keeping things smooth on aggressive downshifts. And while the bike is unapologetically built for speed, it's not unbearable for daily duty. The mirrors are usable, the seat isn't a torture device, and the fueling is smooth enough for city commutes if you're disciplined with your right wrist. That dual personality, a lethal weapon on track, yet tolerable on the road, is one of the GSX-R's greatest strengths. Design-wise, the 2025 GSX-R1000 manages to stay true to the GSX-R identity without looking dated. The sharp fairings, the narrow bodywork, and the aggressive stance make it look like it's already doing 150 miles per hour even when parked. New color options like metallic matte black with red accents or the heritage-inspired RZ livery stand out instantly. Details like the LED headlamp cluster and sculpted tank add to the sense that this machine has been sculpted as much by wind tunnels as by designer's pens. It looks mean, it looks fast, and that's exactly what GSX-R fans expect. Another angle to consider is ownership. Suzuki has built a reputation for bulletproof engines, and the GSX-R is no exception. Maintenance intervals are sensible, parts are widely available, and forums are packed with riders praising its reliability. That gives buyers peace of mind that this isn't a high-strung race bike that requires endless tinkering. It's something you can ride hard, track often, and still count on to start every morning. Insurance and running costs are in line with rivals, but depreciation is where Suzuki usually does better. These bikes hold value thanks to their loyal following. Then comes the emotional part. For riders who grew up with posters of GSX-Rs on their bedroom walls, the 2025 model represents continuity. It's a bridge between the golden age of sport bikes and the modern era of electronics. It's not chasing outrageous horsepower numbers like some competitors. Instead, it focuses on balance. That makes it appealing to riders who want a superbike that's exhilarating but not intimidating, something they can enjoy on a weekend blast without feeling like they've brought a scalpel to a gunfight. And for younger riders stepping into the leader class world, the GSX-R1000 is a gateway serious enough to demand respect, but approachable enough to be a learning partner on the road to mastery. When you line it up against its competition, the GSX-R1000 makes a strong case for itself. The Yamaha R1 has MotoGP-derived crossplane crank charisma, the Kawasaki ZX-10R has Superbike championship credentials, and Honda's CBR-1000RR remains the friendliest all-rounder. The Suzuki, though, strikes a rare middle ground. It's fast without being fragile, advanced without being overcomplicated, and priced just right to undercut or match its biggest rivals. At around $16.5 grand for the base model, it's accessible compared to some European exotica. Step up to the R or RZ, and you get near-track-ready performance for under 19 grand, a figure that makes Ducati and BMW owners glance nervously at their receipts. And finally, there's the sound. The growl of the inline-four, especially when paired with an aftermarket exhaust, is intoxicating. It's smooth yet aggressive, and it's part of what makes the GSX-R identity so strong. It's the soundtrack of decades of riders carving canyons, winning races, and chasing speed on open highways. For many, that alone is enough to seal the deal. When you buy a GSX-R1000, you're not just buying a machine, you're buying into a legacy that continues to this day.